everybody, this is just a quick shameless beg. If you're watching my video, please consider liking the channel and subscribing. Thanks. On to part 3. Welcome back to part 3 of trying to make a mod in Tabletop Simulator. We're still working on Overboss here. I haven't had time to record, so this episode is late. Hopefully recording goes smoothly. Today we're going to work on the terrain deck here and grabbing scripts off these cards, working on the setup basically. Off camera I've gone through and tagged up just about everything that needs tags. In part 2 of the video I discussed the on scripting button down, which if you were making this mod right now, you would have needed to utilize that a little bit to add the tags to these cards, because a deck is treated as a single entity when the cards are stacked. So if you just highlighted this, right-clicked it, and tagged it, it would only tag the deck entity, not each card. And I want each card to be in this particular pile. They all need to be a forest. So if you want to check that video out, I go over the function a little bit. I can show you over here in VS Code. There we go. I'll have to fix that in editing a little bit. Okay, so what I did for the tagging is I just added 5 through 9, and all of this code is the same in each button except for this text. I made it unique for the type of terrain I needed to tag each pile of cards. So, like I was saying, I'll just go through that again. I added tags to all of these decks with the scripting button down. If you tag a deck, it only tags the deck and not each card. So I want every graveyard here to be a graveyard. And it is. Put those back. And then this deck is the terrain cards. So this was the volcano. We look at its tags. It's a volcano and it's a terrain. And each one will be unique. This will be a desert and a terrain. So let's start working on the setup a little bit. So let me jump back over here. And we'll just go, I did throw these to-dos in as well, which will just help me remember what needs to be done. Just some functions that we're going to build. So we need, did I save the code? Okay, no. Oh, I did. Okay, so I threw this line of code in here and then I stopped working on this. So we need the starting terrain deck, and we need starting terrain zone. Get object from grid, and our starting terrain zone is going to be that scripting zone inside the white box. So let's grab that. If you just click it, it'll copy the GUID. Jump back over. And that was the zone. So let's get rid of this. Throw that in there. And then we need to get the deck as well. So go with the mouse tool. Copy the GUID, go back over, delete that, put this in. Okay, so we can now manipulate the deck, and what we're going to do is move the deck cards either manually or automatically into the scripting zone. So this game says you select 5 of these cards at random, so we'll put them in here. And then we're going to read what tags are on the cards, and then from that we will select the appropriate tiles, monsters, crystals, you always take the dungeons, portals, and mini bosses in every game that you play. So that's what we're doing. That's the goal here. Let's jump back over. So we have that. Scroll back down to the bottom, and this is not good practice the way I'm writing everything in just one class or whatever they call these in Lua. I should break this out, but I'm bad, so I'm not going to. Maybe I will before the video is over. We can refactor everything into smarter code. So we're gonna get the cards, starting terrain cards. So we're gonna loop. We don't care about the index, so you use the blank underscore. We just want to loop through everything. So we're gonna get the object in the starting terrain zone. And put a do. If the item, which is this item is what we're referencing here, dot type is equal to a deck, and return item, and then when you iterate through the stuff, when you get to the last card of a deck, it's no longer a deck, it breaks and you lose the GUID. So we also want to make sure if we have just a card. So we're going to do the same thing. Don't care about the indexing. Terrain. Get objects. If item.type is equal to a card, then return item and that should be good. And we can throw return nil in here just for catch-all case. If it's not a deck and it's not a card and it's something else, don't return it. If it's somebody threw a D&D figurine into the mix, you don't care about that. Okay, so then that should be good for that. So now we should be able to get the cards. We can save our code. Oh, I've got an error. Unexpected symbol near item. Unexpected symbol. Go to the error. This item. Okay, which one's messed up? I don't understand the error. Okay, that's okay, so it's this one. Expected an equal sign near item. Starting terrain zone. Okay, Item.type is equal to card. Item, everything's spelled right. Unexpected symbol. Let's take that line out. Okay, it's fine with that. If item.type is equal to card, then return what the heck's the difference? Oh, oops. I want to copy this. I'm gonna Control Z back out. Okay. Here's the code I erased. Here's the code I derived. I spelled return wrong. Okay. That'll do it. Alright. So that is now fine. So let's manipulate the deck a little bit. So what do we need to do first? Let's we'll call the function setup. Build this out. Sometimes I throw these in here because I'll get lost in all the ends. So I'll just throw a little comment that says this is the end for setup. Helps me keep things straight. Okay, so let's do starting terrain deck. Wait, what do we call the variable? Okay, we did call it this. Okay. We'll go starting terrain cards. We're going to be making that equal to getting them. Our function we just made. And we're going to do if starting terrain cards equals nil. So what we're going to do here is if there's no cards, we want cards, and if the players don't feel like picking or they just want some randomization, we can give that to them or for them. Oh, we put the end in there, so we can keep on with this pattern of if and okay. So we want to shuffle the deck. Dot shuffle is just a built-in like Tabletop Simulator. And we can use the wait function, which is what the original mod author used, and I like it. It's pretty useful. So we'll use wait, capital wait, dot time, which is a built-in thing. So wait dot time, and we want to pass in a function. And so we want this to do something. So we want starting deck dot take object, and you need to pass this a table, and we're gonna flip the card when we take one. Flip for true. And the position is going to be equal to starting terrain zone dot get position. Okay. So what this should do is shuffle the starting terrain deck. Here, let me show you over here. We want it to shuffle this deck, and then we want it to take a card, flip it, and place it here, which is our starting terrain zone. So let's jump back over. Okay, and we passed it coordinates. Okay, that looks good. And then we want it to have a delay, which is part of weight. I should pull up the weight in the API, or at least link it here. Delay in seconds, and we want it to go 5 times because you need 5 cards. I think that's it. Okay, so now we need to try this. So we need a button or something to put our code on. So let's get a button. Let's get a button. I don't know if I save them. Save real quick. Save. I don't know if I showed this in the first episode or not. I'm sure I did a bad job. Button. Visualizer. This is going to help us make buttons, and this is an object you can get in the Steam Workshop for Tabletop Simulator. I'm using, or I'm not, this mod was built with the Kraken table, which does have a GUID that we can just add buttons on. Mine is that. We hit edit, and I should have a button somewhere floating in the world. Oh, it's grab the deal button. We're gonna add another button. There it is. See, down there, that's our button. Way right there. So we need it to come up a whole bunch. Alright, position, the Y position, let's go 100, not 1,000. Where are we at? Too high? Oh yeah, way too high. Now it's up here. Let's try 50. Okay, we're getting there. It's only slightly above the table now. Okay, let's move it over. Do I need positive X's? What's the scale? So you can change your increment here. Let's change this to 5. Okay, cool. Just slide that over. We're gonna put it, somewhere here. And then drop down the Y a little bit. That's too much. Let's try 43. 43 is too much. 44. It's still floating, but it's not too bad. I'll tweak the exact positioning so you don't have to watch me fiddle. We'll just get the button roughly in place, which is, you know, there. That's where I want it. Yes, we need this to go up some. Terrain cut. Cool. Okay. Looks pretty good right there. Like I said, I'll mess with the positioning. You can fine tune it more. We need the data for this button. So you put export data, and you want to copy the data that it gave you. Oops, I always want to right click and I can't. Control C, and then let's go back over into VS Code and add another button in. Our buttons are up here. It's a little bit big. Okay. I don't like the spacing of this at all. That's better. Local. Oh, it's gonna give me all this actually, so we'll just, I don't want it to be called, ugh, gross. It would compile and run just fine like that, but it's so ugly. Oops. This is more human readable. Okay, I like that more. Put that there. We're gonna call this one terrain. Okay. Terrain guards. And we want it to do that function that I forget what we called it. Oh, just we want it to run setup. Oh, damn it. Did I capitalize the S? No. Okay. Okay. And then let's do table dot terrain card button. Okay. And will it work? In my experience, usually not the first try. Shuffled 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's exactly what we want. Okay, this is now 25 minutes, which I think is a good amount of time. There's going to be some editing I need to do. I messed up a few things, typical me. But that's exactly what we want to happen. So this should do nothing because there are cards in here now. So if I, grab, what did we get? I shuffled them, that's okay. Spread these out. Tower, summoning circle, swamp, forest, cave. If we do it again, we should get different cards. Yeah, see? So it's working. This is exactly what we want to happen. Alright, so just to recap, all we did in this video was we are grabbing 5 cards from this deck, we're flipping them, dealing them here. In the next video, what we're going to do is iterate through these 5 cards. We're going to grab the tags, and then we're going to match the tags that we grabbed from these cards to their appropriate piles, because you need the tiles to the monsters and the crystals for each of your 5 terrain cards, and they become a bank, a communal pile. It stocks this market, and the monsters go down here, and your players have 4 choices on their turn. It's a tile draft. Alright, well, that's it for this one. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider liking the video, consider subscribing to the channel. I am working towards 1,000. Got a long way to go, but every single one counts.